Is your project actually green or just unupdated? That's the dashboard illusion, a false sense of safety while your portfolio quietly sleeps. Today we're exposing the critical blind spots in standard Jira reporting and why I use structure to finally see the truth. I'm going to show you what business reality actually looks like when you stop relying on stale charts. Let's get started. Standard Jira dashboards often act as an echo chamber of false optimism. They provide a polished snapshot of the past while ignoring the storms gathering on the horizon. So if you feel like your projects are fine until they finally aren't, here is why your current reporting is lying to you. Now, don't get me wrong, dashboards are great, they're a great source of information, but within standard Jira, they're first of all quite limited, second of all, they do not show you the whole truth. Now, they will work for small projects, and we could argue that yes, I do have a summary of what's going on within my project, within my team, but if we take a closer look at some of these charts, and even more than that, we are resolving more issues than we're creating, everything is in green and healthy, everything is looking fine, but if you take a closer look, you might find out that that's not entirely correct. Why is that? What are the reasons your reports might be lying to you? Well, first of all, if we look at this pie chart, keep in mind that Jira looks at all the work items in the same way. Unless you create a separate one for high priority issues, overdue issues, in general work items that need your attention, you don't have the big picture. You're looking at segment of reality. Now, in this case, while we have quite a lot of tasks in the done category, 86% and 690 tasks already completed, the remaining 14% is in to-do or in progress status category. Within this 14%, if we take a closer look, we might find complex tasks with high priority or the highest priority with high estimates and potentially blocking some other important work. So while you're seeing the finish line, in reality, you might be not even close. This is a very simple example. Now, if we look at a different portfolio, look beyond our space or beyond our project, to create such a dashboard, 1 or 3 gadgets are not enough. You will end up with a list of charts that focus on a specific space or specific area of your organization. And I've created some additional filters here to list all the overdue tasks, all the tasks that need my attention, all the tasks that were not updated recently. So we're kind of taking a step back and getting back to a list of issues that we started with. Even though we have a list of issues, we're still missing some important, or I would even say essential data. Now, there might be some linked work items that actually block other teams or even other projects. Teams can be working on a different board and you don't really see all the dependencies when you look at the timeline. So let's have a look at the timeline of my Asia market or Asia board. While we have the timeline here, we have a list of epics, we only see the cross-work item dependencies within this particular filter. In the standard version of Jira, unless of course you have Jira plans, you will not be able to create a portfolio view. So all you can do is utilize the dashboards that do not show you the big picture. So if you're experiencing such challenges, don't worry, you're not alone. This happens to every Jira user. At first, all the reports look pretty cool, but once you start using them, you'll see that they're not sufficient to identify all the resource related bottlenecks, cross-project dependencies, and allow you to manage your portfolio efficiently. So what are the solutions? One such solution is the Structure app. Now within my Jira, I have created several spaces and I already have quite a lot of work items, altogether above the 5,000 threshold. Now, working with such volumes of tasks tasks within the standard Jira can also be a bit of pain, but do not worry. There are apps on the Atlassian's marketplace that don't have such limitations. So one of such apps is Structure by Tempo. Let's find it on my list here. Now Structure is a PPM solution. What you are looking at right now are two apps. This is the Structure and Structure Gantt. Structure Gantt is, we could say, an add-on, but it is also included in the advanced version of the Structure app. So when you install Structure app, go for the advanced version or simply install the Structure Gantt on top of it. And Structure offers some great functionalities, great features that you won't find in your native Jira. First of all, it allows you to work with high volumes of tasks, but that's really nothing compared to one of my favorite features, that is the formula fields. Now here already you'll see that I have couple of formula fields that use JQL that I've actually used to create the gadgets. So for example, I have a list of overdue tasks. Structure based on that formula can also mark your task with a smiley or give you a visual indication that everything is fine with your work items. And the best thing here is that it does that at each level within the hierarchy. Here I have a sample hierarchy where I used my epics and I've organized them into strategic themes. It's worth mentioning that everything here is inline editable, so I can update the fields values, instantly see them on the timeline, and whenever I create dependencies between my work items, they will be immediately rescheduled. Now that's not all. We are looking at a timeline, we are looking at some calculated fields. All this is great. It gives you a big picture or this single source of truth where you don't have to switch your attention between all the different gadgets. You have everything in a single place. Now let me quickly change how my structure looks like, or actually I can open an already created structure that is organized by projects or by spaces. So the tasks are the same, but now I have a different hierarchy, different rollups for each space separately. So again, you can think of it as a report or a gadget for all these different spaces. Now, if I create a cross project dependency, so from my, let's say, Asia market through my European market, you'll see that the issues will be automatically rescheduled, right? So if I create an item link here, this updates the dates of the linked task as well as updates the epic automatically. So just by creating a couple of dependencies, I already have a roadmap if I collapse to the epic level. Now, of course, these are pretty straightforward use cases that I'm showing you, but they make your life much easier. And there is something else that is very important that base Jira really fails at addressing. This is the resources panel right here. Let me configure resources real quick. So there are different ways to configure that. If you want to learn more, I highly recommend that you subscribe to our free structure training where I explain all the details of how to achieve such configuration. If we switch to resources panel here, let's select the assignee as the resource attribute. Your resources can be individual assignees, your teams. Once I select this and as soon as I assign work to individuals or team members, you will see their workload. Now, in my case, this definitely needs some resource leveling, and in Structure it is actually automated. So let's try to run resource leveling and resource these conflicts, because as you can see here, my resources are overloaded. So I have a lot of hours assigned to Adam, Eva, and so on and so forth, while within that week, on that particular day, their capacity is 8 hours only. So let's run resource leveling and let's see if this will resolve or will level this view. Yes, it did level this view. Now, this also rearranged my timeline. However, because in my data, some of my work items are already completed. And as you can see here, I did not set the resource leveling for completed tasks. Well, I can check that now. Let's try to run the resource leveling again. And this time it created a timeline that actually proves that my team will not be overbooked. That of course extended the timeline. I still have some space for Marta here. I still have some space here for other users. So my timeline can be probably rearranged a little bit by simply assigning some work to my available resources. And again, as you see, it's just a couple of clicks and a timeline is ready. When you work with structure, it does not sync all the dates on the timeline or the Gantt dates with Jira itself. There is the button right here, copy to Jira, so I haven't really updated the Jira fields such as the start date, due date yet. So we could say that we are working in a scenario mode. And that's great because you can try out different scenarios without updating your Jira data. Now there are plenty of other features here in this powerful tool that we don't have time to cover today, but again, I highly recommend to subscribe to our free structure training. Now we offer free training for other PPM apps available on the Atlassian's marketplace, such as BigPicture. So if you haven't really decided which app will work for you, and keep in mind that there are significant differences between the two apps. So in some areas structure is better, especially when it comes to these calculated fields, to some extent working with resources. In case of leveling the resources, there is more automation. On the other hand, BigPicture offers several more modules than just this single view, so the choice is not that straightforward. But the good news is that if you need any help, you can always reach out to us. We work with over 240 clients and can share the best practices, tailor the solution to your exact needs. So if you want a PPM environment that will work for you, not against you, check out the link in the description and sign up for a free consultation with our experts. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.